Hello, friends, and welcome back to Tea Coop Tuesdays, taking care of our planet Tuesdays with me, Miss Jules. If you're wondering why I might look a little bit different this week, you guessed it, I got a new shirt. Thank you for noticing. And it also could be this fake mustache I'm wearing as well. I don't know which one you were thinking. But the reason I'm wearing this mustache is because I am going to show you all a little story time video today of the Lorax. So there's a character called the Lorax, the mustache like this. And I'm guessing a lot of you may have read this book or maybe even seen the movie, but if not, no worries, because today you're going to get to hear it for the first time. So I'm going to share my screen and play this story time. We're going to read the Lorax together. And then after, I have a couple worksheets that are going to be in your kits I want to tell you about, and also talk to you a little bit about what taking care of our planet looks like. So without further ado, let me share my screen. Let's listen to the Lorax. Here we go.
Welcome to Brightly Storytime. I'm Miss Linda, and today we're going to read one of my very favorite books to read at springtime. It's called The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives here. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great, great, great grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count, to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snuv, his secret strange hole in his grovulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-mophone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. Slop! Down slups the whisper-mophone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swami swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place. And I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots, frisking about in their barbaloot suits, as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop, and with great skillful skill, and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft, and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish, and oldish, and brownish, and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. "Mister," he said with a sawdusty sneeze, "I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs." He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. "What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft?" "Look, Lorax," I said, "there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt. It's a sock. It's a glove. It's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats." The Lorax said, "Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed." But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. "You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy." "I repeat," cried the Lorax, "I speak for the trees." "I'm busy," I told him. "Shut up, if you please." I rushed across the room, and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, "Listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now, chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before. And that Lorax? He didn't show up anymore. But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round, and my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys," he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies in tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more thneeds, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. "I am the Lorax," he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled. He snargled, he sniffed. "Onceler," he cried with a cruffulous croak. "Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat." "And so," said the Lorax, "please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off." Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. "What's more," snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, "let me say a few words about gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup, also schloppity-schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. they'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, "Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering, and biggering, and biggering, and biggering, turning more truffula trees into thneeds, which everyone needs." And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more thneeds, no more work to be done. So, in no time, my uncles and aunts, every one, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left 'neath the bad-smelling sky was my big, empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, sad backward glance, as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he heisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. What would you do if you were given a seed? Could you plant it and water it and make sure it got fresh air? Talk to a grown-up and see if they'll help you find one. If you put it in the ground and take good care of it, you'll get to watch it grow into a plant. Come back to read more stories together anytime you'd like.
Awesome, friends. I hope you loved that story. Dr. Seuss's book, The Lorax, is one of my favorites to read. I try to read it at least every year. I really love it. And it has some really important messages in it that have a lot to do with taking care of our planet and our Earth. I'm very curious to know what you all think. So if you want to comment below and tell me what that book made you think, or what lessons do you think you learned in that book? I did take off my mustache since we're going into the next part of our video. But if you all want to make a Lorax mustache, I just drew mine and then I cut it out. And then you could use string or tape or anything you want to try to attach it. I used dental floss and I attached it to my glasses. So I want to show you something else now. In your kit, you are going to find a few different worksheets, and I will show you what those look like. Let's see. Make sure we can share our screen. Okay, so in your kit, you will find for TQ Tuesday this week, a coloring page that looks like this, and it says that same quote we heard in the book, which is, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. I would also like to know what you all think that means. So if you want to color that sometime when you feel like you have time or you're just in the mood to color, go for it. You can post a picture below in the comments, maybe have an adult help you. And I want to hear what you think this means to you. Now, another worksheet you have is called the Lorax Maze. It looks like this. It's a little bit hard to see on Miss Jules' computer, but it's just a little maze. It's a fun activity. You're going to want to try to help the Lorax find his way to the Trifula tree. So I'm going to give you a little hint. This is how you start, but that's all I'm going to show you. So you can do each of those whenever you feel like it. They're just fun worksheets to go with this week's class. And next, what I would like you to do is take some time and think about the story that you heard in the Lorax, what it means to take care of our trees and our planet and our Earth. And then go ahead and you're going to find this worksheet as well. And it just has a few questions for you, which I'll read to you now. So first, I'd like, in your own words, for you to say, what do you think taking care of our planet means? What does that look like to you? You can write an answer, you can make a list, you can draw something in this blank space here, or draw something on a bigger piece of paper if you need more room. Then I want you to think about this. Why do you think it is important to take care of our planet? Like what makes that something that we want to have as a goal? Why is that so important? Lastly, I want to know, what words have you heard that remind you of this idea of taking care of the planet? Do you know what it means to go green, to recycle, or to create eco-friendly habits? It's totally okay if you don't know what those words mean. I just want to know what words you heard that make you think about taking care of the planet. So whenever you have time and you want to fill this out, go for it. You can have an adult help you post a picture of it in the comments, or even just write your answers in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And then once you do that, you'll find this worksheet also, and you can use that to think about these things. So it says things I can reuse. So think back to the video I put out for all of you the other week when I told you what the 3 R's are, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle. And thinking about that, you can look at this worksheet, thinking about the Lorax and taking care of our planet. Write down a few ideas or draw things that you can reuse. Something in your house, in your car, in your backpack. Then think about what you can reduce. That might be water or electricity or the amount of garbage you throw away. You can also write down a list of things that you can recycle and put it here. Also, if you would rather draw instead of write, that is totally fine. I want you to do whatever you prefer. Lastly, on this can, it says, I want to help the earth. I will. And here's where you can write a little promise to the earth. What will you try to do to help take care of it? Which brings me to my last thing that I want to show you. And that is something I call Rosebud Thorn. Rosebud Thorn is an activity where you get to think really hard about how you take care of the planet and what things you want to do an even better job. It's totally okay to not do it all perfectly. I don't take care of the planet perfectly. Nobody does. But as long as we're trying, that's the most important part. So the way Rosebud Thorn works is first you think of your rose, and your rose is something that you already do to take care of the planet. So it's kind of like a pat on the back for you. What's something that you do right now that helps the planet? That could be something like you recycle cardboard boxes that you have in your house, or you turn off the lights when you leave a room. Anything that you do. And if you can't quite think of one, don't worry. Just take some time to think. And as you're going about your week this week, try to pay attention and think about something that is your rose for taking care of the planet. Now, after you do that, I want you to then consider what your bud is. Now, your bud is something you would like to try to do something you would like to try to be more green or take better care of the planet. So it's something that you're not doing yet, but you would like to try to do. So I'll give you an example. Well, we'll start with rose. My something that I already do to take care of the planet would probably be I try to recycle as much as I can, even when it means extra work of trying to clean out containers and different things like that. Now, my bud, or something that I'd like to try to do more of to be more green, I would say I would like to ride my bike more. I drive a lot of places, which is okay, but the more we can ride our bikes and the less we drive our cars is always going to be better for the planet. Sometimes it's not an option and we have to drive, and that's okay. But I would definitely like to try to ride my bike more. Now, your thorn is something that you maybe right now aren't doing the best job at for the planet. So I know one for me is that I turn on a lot of lights and I forget them a lot. I'm a very forgetful person. Um, Even teachers are forgetful. And so I like a lot of light because I like to be able to see really well. So I often have lights above me and lamps on. And not only do I probably use too much electricity, I also forget to turn them off when I leave the room. So that's definitely my thorn, and that's something I'm going to work on a lot to try to be better at. So I want you to take this week and think about what your rose, what your bud, and what your thorn is when it comes to taking care of the planet. Like I said, we don't have to be experts or perfect at this stuff. We're all learning and we're all trying our best. The most important thing is that we just think about taking care of the earth and of our planet and taking care of each other as best as we can. So that is all I have for you this week on T-Coop Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed the Lorax, and I hope you like these worksheets that we have for you in your kit. We're going to do some really fun stuff next week too. I can't wait to tell you all and show you all of that. Before I go, I just want to remind you, you can post pictures or your answers from all your worksheets in the comments. You can make your own Lorax mustaches and send pictures or put pictures of those in the comments. You can also put your rosebud thorn in the comments. one way that we can all talk to each other and share with each other is commenting on there, and we can see it and see what everyone else is up to, what everyone else is working on for their planet caretaking. Don't forget, parents, to put a comment below, mostly so that we can see who's watching, see who's attending our sun after school programming virtually, and keep going and keep giving you all fun stuff every day. So go ahead and leave a comment. If you do, you can get a shout out in a video, as well as you'll be entered to win a prize. So very cool stuff. I can't wait to see you all next Tuesday for another Teach Coop class. And have a great week and go green. Bye.